with Yeonju. At the beginning of class, I heard your phrase that for a while I never speaked English. And you have to use the past tense of speak as spoke. So for a while, you wouldn't say I never spoke English, you would say maybe I haven't spoken English for a long time. Would be the kind of natural phrase. Like, I haven't spoken English for a long time. I haven't used English for a long time is also possible. And I heard you use the phrase that some webtoons are adopted into the TV shows. Adopted is different than when you wanted to use the word adapted. And adapted is when you change the format of a book into a movie or a comic book into another format. So be careful. Adopted and adapted, two different meanings there.
Pronunciation is
quite different.
adapt.
So you want to use adapted.
Adapt.
Webtoons were adapted into TV shows. Adopted would make me think about like adopting a child or right.
We heard it. So adapt.
Adapted. Really get the A sound in there. Let's see. Jisoo, I heard okay, you were mentioning about your accomplishment this week in the company, and you introduced by saying a part need to be improvements. Like you said, like a part of my job to be improvement. And you might want to say, an area of my company needs improvement. An area of my company needs improvement or needed improvement. And then you said, I made a voice, which makes sense, but a more natural English phrase would be like, I made a suggestion, or I spoke up to make your suggestion. You could say like, I spoke up, which means maybe everyone else was quiet and you came up with the idea. So you could say, I spoke up, I made a suggestion. And you also use the phrase, there is a Olympic park in my neighbor. So this is complicated. Olympic Park is quite famous. Like, I think everyone knows that. So you could just say the Olympic Park. And we would so introduce that as your subject. The Olympic Park is in my neighborhood. Be careful the difference neighborhood and neighbor. The neighborhood is the place, but your neighbors are the people next to you or around you. So they're quite different meaning.
So you mean we must put the
Yes, because it's like
the Olympic Park?
right. There's only one Olympic Park in Seoul, right? The big. So I would say the Olympic Park is in my neighborhood, right? But also the official name might just be Olympic Park. So maybe you could also maybe just say Olympic Park is in my neighborhood, right? Without the. Frank, you mentioned that the boricha wheat, the buckwheat, use the phrase very strong to survive. And here we could use our old vocabulary word, the resilient. 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 Oh, resilient. R-E-S-I-L-I-E-N-T. Resilient. And naturally you want to say like survivable, but survivable has a different meaning. Survivable means a situation you could survive. So better in this case, there's no word to say really strong to survive, so better to just say resilient. Resilient. And Mira, pronunciation of species. You were saying species, I think you had a soft E sound there. Species. Right. Species. A very hard E. Species.
Hard E.
Species. Okay, those were the only mistakes I caught tonight.
Thank you very much.
Great discussion.